You're on.
You're on.
Okay, I'll just let everybody get signed in first.
So they have
First one.
Hey, John.
Probably they don't do that. We see it first.
I'd have to look at it again.
Okay.
Where am I looking?
If I can get everybody to take a seat, we'll get her started. Okay. So we have three minor variance applications today, and we'll start off with file number MV 2018-03 Metzger. So I will call the public hearing to order and publicly state any decision reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. Public hearing is to consider minor variance application file number MV 2018-03 Metzger. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer to state the following information.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. The subject property is legally described as Survey Mary Caswell's Lot 77, Concession 1, Part Lot 22, 411 Jane Street, Palmerston. The purpose of the application is to permit construction of 160.54 square meter or 1,536 square foot accessory structure with a maximum height of 5.79 meters or 19 feet, whereas Section 6.1.4b and 6.1.3a of the town's zoning bylaw permits a maximum size of 92.9 square meters, 1,000 square feet, and a maximum height of 4.5 meters or 14.8 feet for an accessory structure. Notice was mailed to landowners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property and to applicable agencies August 24th, 2018, and posted on the lands. Circulated to staff on the same date, and comments were received from Town of Minto Building Assistant, who is here and has a staff report, Wellington County Junior Planner Jessica Wilton, and Senior Planner Curtis Marshall, who is here tonight, and the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority Brandy Walter, whose letter is in your package, and I believe did not oppose the variance. No objection to the minor variance.
Okay. I'll call on the applicant for comments. Jeff?
Hi, Jeff. Which comments would you like?
Well, whatever you want to say about it, and then we're going to have the county report and the town report as well.
Okay. Yeah, just if you notice on the back, there's a few concerns the town had. We met with them and talked. They wanted about future expansion, so they want to make sure the shed was far enough away from the Farmers Laneway. It's 40 meters, so it's 130 something feet. So there's enough room for a full lot for future development. That was one concern. The other concern was the height. So we brought the height down quite a bit, and I think that was the main thing. They just want to make sure it's try to be down. It's well below the height of the existing home, so there won't be any eyesore or any problem that way. And the roof design, we had a few different ways to make cottage roofs, so you don't have anything. Makes it quite nice looking, and it's going to be a nice looking building. And yeah, it's been in the plan. That's why Maitland Valley doesn't have any concerns, because all the whole property there has been designed to put the sheds out back. And it was agricultural land, and technically still is. The zoning hasn't quite gone through, but we're trying to stay ahead of the zoning because it's still agricultural. So that's why I was expecting to be able to put larger sizes in there now. So it's kind of a shock when I wasn't able to put the application.
Sure. You want to do questions now, or did you want to wait for that? Well, we'll have you sit back over there, Jeff, and then I'll get Michelle to do the town report, and Curtis to do the county one. Did I catch you on a word?
Drop it, drop it.
Thanks, Michelle.
First. So through you, Mayor Bridge, this, you may recall, we were just back at council not that long ago with all of the lot line adjustments, so that's one that we're still referring to. We met, and this is actually the second version that the applicant has come forward with to lower the size and height of the garage. And as far as the building department and our public works, staff have no issue with the newly proposed structure. We are, however, recommending that a minimum rear yard setback be set at, we had it as 140 feet, but we are fine with the 40 meters as proposed by the applicant, as well as continuing, we wanted to make sure that we added in there the piece around the grading and drainage plan, that it matches with all of the other reports. We do need to note that the planning staff have indicated that they are not in favor of the revised design of the structure, and they are recommending that should you approve, that the accessory structure cannot be used for commercial or industrial business purposes or habitation, and that the accessory structure set back to a minimum of 3 meters from the side lot line.
And you have that in your
In the denies.
questions for
report.
Michelle?
Oh,
Thanks.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Jean?
So I'm a little confused here then. So is it going to be 19 feet high, or it's not going to be 19 feet high?
That is what the applicant is proposing, that it be
That's
the
the
19
revised
feet.
proposal? What was the
That-
original one?
That is an excellent question.
Oh, okay. So why so high? Okay. Because I'm thinking, what do we need to put in a car garage that needs 19 feet of height? That's because I was just thinking it would be way out there from. Okay.
Thanks, Michelle. Do you want to
Thank
just
you.
wait? And Curtis, do you want to speak to your report?
Thank you. Committee members. So just briefly, as indicated, we have concerns with the application and do not feel it is minor. We note that the size of the garage is quite large for a residential lot, and we have concerns with the proposed height, even the revised height down to 19 feet. And that height is not just so council committee is aware, that height is taken not to the peak from floor level to the peak, but it's actually halfway up the peak of the roof. So in effect, the building is still higher than 19 feet. So if that takes you to the peak, the triangle, the halfway between the peak and then the top of the roof, bottom of the roof, that halfway point is what is considered the height of an accessory building. If that doesn't make any sense, I can clarify.
No,
Try
it doesn't
back
make
again.
any sense
Okay,
to me at all.
if I could draw
Is the
it
19
best.
feet up to the height of the wall, outside wall?
No, so the measurement's taken from the top of the wall to the peak, halfway between those 2 points. That's considered the height. So 19 feet would be halfway up, basically the pitch
So
of
it's
the roof.
38 feet then.
No.
No, it could be.
No, but
it
I'm
could
just
be, yeah.
going by the
So it depends
what
on
we're
the slope
talking
of the
about.
roof. The slope of the roof, right?
What's the actual height of the building?
Yeah, maybe.
What's the actual height of the building?
It's 12-foot sidewalk. Yeah. So the total to the ridge would be 26 feet.
So
The original.
No, the original, the 26 was to the midpoint.
Oh, it was the midpoint as well. Wow. Okay, thank you.
Just, well, I have one question. You were saying, Jeff, that it matches up. The roof matches up. Is it going to be higher than your house when you see it? When you from the road looking in, it won't be. Yeah, you have to come to the mic, sorry, Jeff, because this is all taped and all that stuff.
Quite a bit lower than my house. The house has 11-foot ceilings plus second story and high peaks. So it's not going to be anywhere near that.
Okay.
I think I'm only applying for 4 feet higher than normal.
I just want to get a picture of looking in from the street if you can't
it's gonna
see it.
A floor behind it.
Okay, good. And all right, next up, of course, any person who wishes to speak, we already did the response to rebuttal of the application. Anybody here from the public? Anybody from the public This, no, okay. Thanks. Okay. Questions? How you?
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. This is for Jeff. I'm looking at the picture, the aerial photo, figure number 1. If you're coming in off Jane Street. How are you going to get there? Where's your driveway going to be?
There's a driveway already in on
Oh,
that side.
it's off the side. Okay, that one. So you're not even coming in off Jane.
Yeah, it's off Jane Street. It's
So you're
beside
coming
the
off
house.
of Jane.
Only way you can get in.
It's on the left-hand
On
side.
the right hand side of that drive.
Okay.
So you're going to have 2 driveways.
I'm just looking at the
No, it's just a
overhead.
wider driveway on this side, garage door as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And the use of it, it's not going to be commercial, but you have quite a few things that you have to store in there, I take it?
Yeah, like campers and boats and stuff.
Boats and stuff.
Got a
Okay.
camp on a shed.
Ron?
I just, why the concern about the extra 4 feet? What, afraid airplanes are gonna get in there? I don't know. If the ambiance is there, it looks all right out. I don't understand the thought of that.
Well, go ahead, Curtis. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I'm sure that
Yeah.
we were addressing Curtis, right?
Yes, sorry.
Yes, to Committee Member Elliott. Yes, our concern is just in keeping in the character of the neighborhood. As you saw in one of the sketches there future proposals that will be additional development that you will see additional houses built along the rear and the side of this property. So our concerns are there's no screening for this accessory building. So I think we feel the roof line will be dominant to those adjacent properties.
If I get anything further, did anybody want to ask anything further? And then we'll have our Ron?
Just the one thing that I want to make sure that it's that not to be used for commercial purposes is going to be right in the bylaw.
It's right in. Yep, it's right in there. Yep.
Double check it.
Okay. All right. No further questions?
So, Mayor Bridge, I have 2 draft decisions for the committee to think about. One decision would approve the application by Jeff Metzger for property described as I had already read out for 411 Jane Street to allow the structure as applied for with 4 conditions: that the applicant provide a grading and drainage plan to the satisfaction of the town, which requires a plan prepared by a professional engineer or OLS, that the owner complete the provisions of the approved grading plan, stormwater management plan pursuant to development of the lands, that the applicant provides a minimum rear yard setback of, I think, 40 meters instead of 42.67 meters to the property line, and that the accessory structure cannot be used for commercial, business purposes or habitation, and that the accessory structure be set back a minimum 3 meters from the side lot line. The other decision is that the application be denied as the variance is not minor or desirable for the appropriate development and use of the lands. So someone could make a motion of one or the other, or if you wish to defer it.
I would make a motion in favor.
So that would be the decision to approve.
Second? All in favor of that one? And we sign.
So then I will pass the decision around for those in favor of that decision to please sign. Okay. And you have a statement to read at the end.
Okay. I will state anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision to please sign the request of notice of decision prior to leaving the council chamber following the meeting. And I now declare that business closed. Okay. Did you finish signing it?
Yeah, you can go into
The next one?
whatever then.
Okay, and next up is minor variance application file number MV 2018-05, Weber. I will call the public meeting to order and publicly state any decision reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with its own merits. No 2 applications are exactly the same. A public hearing to consider the minor variance application file number MV 2018-05, Weber, I will call the Secretary Treasurer to state the following.
Subject property is legally described as Concession 1, Part Lot 20, Plan 61R 11191, Part 1. It's known as 5985 14th Line, Town of Minto. On the right one, right? Yep. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit construction of a 394.66 square meter or 4,248 square foot home industry building attached to an agricultural shed with a setback to the natural environment zone boundary of 6 meters, whereas Section 6.14D permits a maximum size of 232.25 square meters for home industry use, and Section 6.20.1A requires a minimum setback of 30 meters to an NE zone boundary. Notice was mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters, as well as to applicable agencies August 24th, posted on the lands and circulated to staff on the same date, and comments were received from the Town of Minto building assistant, who is here tonight, and her report is on your agenda. From the Wellington County Planning Department, Junior Planner Jessica Wilton and Senior Planner Curtis Marshall, who is here tonight, and the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, Michael Oberly, and his report is on, and I believe it also does not object to the application.
Okay, and then I will call on the applicant or agent for comments.
He's not here.
Not here. Then I will call on the comments from the town. And Michelle, you want to go first?
Thank you, through you, Mayor Bridge. Again, town staff met to review the application, and we feel that it fits the intent of the and purpose of the official plan.
Just hang on for a second,
Oh,
Michelle.
okay.
Can you put it up on the screen, because I had a couple people wanted to see the actual. I said we'd have it up on the screen, and we don't see it. There. Does that help? Okay, sorry, Michelle.
Yep, no, not at all. And we have no major concerns or issues. And Bill was correct that everyone, including the Saugeen Valley as well as the county, have no objections or concerns.
Any questions for Michelle? Yes, Jean?
Just about the size of it. It's like almost double the size of what we ordinarily would permit. We don't have any concerns about that. Like it seems like it's more like an industrial building than a farm.
It is an industry building.
So would it best be located in an industrial spot rather than agricultural?
Well, did you want to speak to that, Curtis? Curtis is coming up next from the county.
Okay.
Come up now, Curtis, and maybe speak to the. It's I think in your report actually.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair, to the committee member. So what they propose is a home industry, so that would be a industrial use on a commercial farm. So they are as I understand it, they recently purchased the farm, and they wish to build this new building, which will be half a wood shop,
right,
and half a drive shed for their agricultural operation. And I understand from the building official that they're also taking out a permit for an additional beef barn, if that's the case. So in terms of the county plan, there's no issues with the scale of the proposed use. Now the township zoning bylaw does set a standard for a maximum size, so they've asked to go larger from the 2,500 up to the about 4,000. So that's something the committee should be comfortable with. But from our perspective, we didn't have any issues at this point. So back to summarize, the use is permitted as a on-farm diversified use, so a home industry, being that they are an agricultural operation. They're under the bylaw allowed to have a home industry. The issues with the size. And the other item I should mention also was the setback to the NE zone.
Right.
And that the Conservation Authority was on site, and under the township zoning bylaw, the actual line drawn in the sand is actually done out on site by the Conservation Authority. And so they ultimately determine where the boundary exactly is. And so they were out on site, and as I understand from their correspondence, they have no issues with the application, and have rejigged the boundary. So originally it looked like it was a 15-meter setback they were asking for, as opposed to the 30. But based on the revised lot line, any boundary line, I believe it's a 5. I have it in front of me, a 5 or 6 meter reduction. So
Yeah, just I think to make it clear, it's setback is from the boundary line as opposed to the road.
Yes,
and,
that's
and as long as my issue would have been if it had been a site problem with the road.
You're talking about if it had been close to the road, you couldn't see it.
That's right.
That's not. Judy, did you have a question?
I guess I'm a little surprised that Saugeen Valley was willing to make that concession, but obviously they have, so that's fine. And I guess too, I would suggest we have several home industries in Minto that are this size or larger.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
On
Very much
farms.
So. Yep.
Maybe that 2,500 feet isn't the right number anymore, but this is a good process to go through to just to have that extra vetting in place.
Well said, Judy.
Do you want to speak to that, Terry?
So in discussion with the applicant, the subject home industry building is going to be a carpentry shop. And similar to another one that we dealt with a few years ago, they're dealing with 16-foot lumber that's got to go through a plane. So that dictates the size of the building because you've got the equipment 16 feet either side to slide it through. The applicant is not proposing to hire any off-site employees, so it's just himself working in the shop at this point. So it's more of a logistical, how the operation works is the need for the square footage. His father currently has a carpentry shop, the same size, same nature, up, I believe, Millbank Way. So they're modeling the size of this one after his father's existing operation. So that's how they determined what scale they're going to need. I don't know if that clarified things a bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Does anybody want to speak to the issue? Did you have a couple neighbors? Did you want to say anything? Or? Here we are. State name, obviously, but
Kevin Crispin.
For the record.
Sure. Kevin Crispin, farm to the west of that.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I'm still on the 14th Amendment, not concession 1.
Oh.
That way.
Got you wrong?
That way. In your legal description there, you've got concession 1.
Yeah.
That way. Not so much concerns. We just haven't seen the site plan or know what's going on. As far as, a carpentry shop, I don't think that's a problem. Wouldn't mind knowing more details. Not that I'm putting up great big buildings in the future, but at some point I want to put up driving shed, on that half of my building site that way. And someday I wouldn't mind replacing the old wood frame farmhouse. And maybe that's going to be more concerns with the beef building. I don't know whether there's distances involved between the shop and that. The other question I had was the NE zone boundary. Is that what are they considering wetlands when they say? I know that there's a municipal ditch further east along that boundary. I'm thinking that's maybe what they consider there.
No, I don't think so.
So the NE zone boundary in this case, it is a floodplain. As you can see from that map, it's a low-lying area. Part of the reason why the Conservation Authority does come out, they look at the soil, the type of soil, how things lie, and determine exactly on site where that boundary line is, opposed to just looking at the aerials. This application doesn't pertain to the beef barn, but basically, as part of my review of issuing a permit for an addition onto a barn or a new barn, we do look at the MDS distance. I haven't crunched the MDS 1 distance from your house back to that beef barn. But if there is a limiting distance, you could put the house as close as it is now to the barn. Just possibly couldn't go closer, but we would have to double check that at down the road.
Terry, that we have to all come back through here. We'd have to.
Only if relief from that was needed.
Relief,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I mean,
has
if we
nothing
did
to
the
do with
numbers,
the
yeah,
relief being sought today, but just for clarification's sake. So.
That help?
It does. One other question.
Sure.
Just wondering if there was dimensions for the proposed drive shed going with the wood shop. Don't have to be exact.
There is. I can't recall. I can't recall exactly what the size is off the top of my head. It is larger than the home industry, so it'll be 6,000-7,000 square feet, give or take, is kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay. No, that answers some of our questions here that way.
Perfect. Anybody else? Oh, okay.
Oh, east. See, the thing says north, heading that way.
All right.
So just
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
just Kevin, you're to the
I'm to the left.
Left.
oh, you're to the left.
Left.
I'm
Yeah.
on the other side of the
Yeah.
road.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Just further on Kevin's part, really, John Crispin is my name, and appreciate the chance to say the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And the clarification is a big help. When you get a letter like that, you're not
Yes.
sure what's happening, and we appreciate that. I guess my question relates, I'm not sure whether Judy or Jean alluded earlier, is this going to be considered a commercial building or an industrial building, or is it just another farm building?
Right. And Terry, can you answer that for me?
From a construction perspective, as well as zoning, we do class them as industrial buildings. So it's going to be heavier construction than what would be required for an ag building for the shop portion. The agricultural portion could be constructed to ag standards if that's what they choose to. Does that help, John?
It's considered as an industrial building. Is it taxed as an industrial building?
It's taxed, it's constructed, everything as a home
Good point.
industry
That's a good
building.
question. That's an excellent question. Yep. That was the idea. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Good. Right.
So Mayor Bridge, I have two decisions. One would approve the application for property known as 5985 14th line with the proper legal description put in. And the other would be to deny the application on the basis that it's not minor or nor desirable for the appropriate development of the lands. Someone wish to make a motion either way.
I'll make that motion. Then it's
Deputy
on
Mayor
the table.
Faulkner. Approve?
To approve.
Judy?
Yes.
To approve. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Right.
So I would ask anyone who agrees with that decision to please sign that.
Yep. Okay.
Well, number 3.
Number 3. Minor variance application number MV 2018-06, Grind. We'll call a public meeting to order and publicly state any decisions reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. The public hearing is to consider minor variance application file number MV 2018-06, Grind. I'll call the Secretary Treasurer to give us the following information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is legally, you already said that, didn't you? Is known as 31 Pellister Street, West, Harrison. Purpose of the application is to permit construction of a residential addition with a rear yard setback of 1.22 meters or 4 feet, whereas section 10.2.6 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum rear yard setback of 7.6 meters or 24.9 feet. Notice was mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the lands and to applicable agencies August 24th, 2018, posted on site and circulated to staff on the same date, and comments were received from the Town of Minto Building Assistant, who was here, the Junior Planner of the County and the Senior Planner, who was here, the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority, Randy Walter, who did not object to the application, And those comments are all in your package.
Well, I call on the applicant. Or did you want to?
Name's Nigel Grind.
Yeah, Nigel.
I'm taking Curtis Marshall's suggestion to defer. We had a meeting today. We're going to try and figure something else that works best for Wellington County, Minto, and for myself also.
Thanks, Nigel. Good luck on that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to speak from the public on this? Here. Oh, I'm sorry. There you are. I knew there was someone. Did you want to speak at this moment or wait until they look at the other stuff?
You'll be here for both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay. Thank you.
So Mayor Bridge, if I may, just procedurally, if we had a motion to defer, that would be good. But did the individual, did you sign the form here to make sure we could get you any information in advance of it coming back?
I signed.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Judy's moved it. You seconded it. All in favor? Good. Okay. Good. I think
So
that's done. Yeah.
Okay, so I can log in.
Yeah. What?
Hammer that thing.
Oh, I can hammer it. Yeah, we're done. Yeah. Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Anderson. The Committee of Adjustment convenes a regular council meeting. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Dixon, second by Councilor Anderson. Bylaw number 2018-73 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto be introduced read first, second, and third time and passed on by Council of COCO Corporation. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Elliott. The Council of the Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the Mayor. All in favor? Thanks for the meeting, everybody.